My female 23, mom married my stepdad when I was 12. He's okay, and he and I have a cordial and friendly relationship. On the other hand, his son Danny, 26, is an idiot and a bully. The best day for me in that house was the day he went away to school. I have not had to spend more than 3 hours with Danny in the last 8 years. He was only home in the summers, and I was with my dad or his family in the summertime. Anyway, he managed to convince a poor woman to marry him. I received an invitation in the mail and immediately responded with an emphatic no. My mom called me to ask why I wasn't going to attend. I said I couldn't afford it and didn't want to go. Other than her, I'll have no actual relatives there. My stepdad got on a call and said he would pay for me to go on the trip. I asked if I was going to have to share my room. He said no. I asked if I was supposed to do anything other than attend this wedding and reception. He said no. I asked if my invitation included a plus one. He said no. It was $2,200 for single occupancy, or $1,800. He sent me $2,200 to book my flight and room. I would only agree to go if I could book my trip, so there was no mistake, and I somehow ended up with Great Aunt Gladys in my extra bed. My boyfriend scraped up $1,400, and we booked the trip. I didn't mention it to my mom. We ended up having a great time. We did a bunch of excursions, and I attended the wedding and reception by myself. I participated in the family pictures, and I danced at the reception. I was social, and even had dinner with my mom and stepdad one night. My boyfriend used our resort bonus cash to book a solo excursion to some rum distilleries, so he was busy the day of the wedding. I had dinner with my mom last week, and she brought up how rude it had been to use money meant for me to spend time with the family to subsidize a vacation for myself and my boyfriend. Apparently, I was expected to eat every meal and attend to all the wedding stuff. I reminded her that I didn't want to go in the first place, and only agreed after I was told I was only expected at the wedding and the reception. She says that my stepdad is upset that I pretty much ignored everyone for the entire week. I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the idiot because I used the money my stepdad gave me to attend his son's destination wedding to subsidize a vacation for me and my boyfriend? Not the idiot. You attended the event you were asked to. Your boyfriend paid his way. You asked specific questions, abided by the answers without objection or complaints, showed up and did your part cheerfully. Flawless execution. It's called killing two birds with one stone. Many people do this, especially those who go abroad for a business trip and might combine some personal vacation, since the airfare is already paid for. And it's an excellent malicious compliance. OP, you did exactly what was agreed upon. Whether or not your boyfriend was there, you kept up your end of the bargain. They made a deal with you, thinking they could push you into a different deal because you'd be alone. They acted in bad faith, and disappointments based on bad faith agreements are the fault of the person acting in bad faith. The next time they think you're rude, tell them that it was rude of them to agree on something with you and then expect something different, and they should apologize. If they'd wanted you to attend all those extra events, they should have made that clear in their list of conditions when they gave you the money. You met the social obligation to which you were invited, the wedding. Your boyfriend did not obstruct any of these events, and hence it is fair game. I assume you were not invited to any other event, so why would you go? The blame for that is on your stepbrother for failing to invite you. It's the height of bad manners to push in where you're not wanted. Girl, you played by the rules. You were an angel to allow stepdad and bully stepbrother to maintain the facade of a happy family. Tell mom that. When I was 9, my dad got remarried to a woman with 2 kids. The main one that I'm going to be talking about is Maya, who at the time was 12. I got along really well with my stepmother, and we did stuff together all the time. I also got along with my stepbrother well too. Maya and I did not get along at all though. I will fully admit that I bullied her about her appearance and body. A few years later, there was an incident where she physically attacked me because of it. Our dad and stepmom took us all to family therapy, where everything was hashed out. The main issue that I realized was that I was really just copying the things that my stepmother would say to Maya as constructive criticism. With everything out in the open, we both apologized to her, and she said she accepted our apologies, but later said she didn't forgive me. She fully forgave her mother, but said she didn't have to forgive me because I wasn't family. This set the basis of our relationship. I still get along great with my dad, stepmom, stepbrother, and my other siblings. Maya and I were primarily civil with each other the rest of the time that we lived together, but otherwise we had no real relationship. I say primarily civil because she would always find a chance to insert a small comment about me bullying her in the past. She would, however, never make such a comment about her mom. So I don't have any contact with her now. I've seen her in person, maybe a handful of times in the last 10 years. I tried to stay on the furthest side of the room from her in those times. Now on to the current issue. My husband and I don't have kids, but we've always loved spending time and spoiling our nieces and nephews. We've both been finding more recent success with our careers, so we've been doing more expensive activities with them and getting them better gifts. We've never included Maya's kids because we don't have a relationship with them at all. The kids have talked amongst themselves, though, and hers now want us to include them. Maya's trying to frame it as me bullying her again by excluding her kids, when she's the one who decided I'm not family. So I'm not sure why she expects me to see her or her kids as family. Am I the idiot for not including my stepsister's kids because she told me I'm not her real family? You are not the idiot, but I'm not sure what Maya wants here, because if I want nothing to do with you, and you've traumatized the heck out of me, why would I want you in my kids' lives? I also wouldn't have the expectation that you need to get my kids anything. Is she seeing the gifts as compensation for her pain or something? She doesn't consider you family, and doesn't want to forgive you, which is her right. However, I framed this as, what is it that you want here? At the moment, I think she looks bad for acting like you're not family, but your money is when it comes to her kids. She can't have it both ways. Seriously? I mean, stepsis continuing to throw barbs at her younger sister, refusing OP's apology, and denying her as family, sounds like bullying in itself. The fact that stepsis still holds OP accountable for a child's mistake well into adulthood makes OP's lack of a relationship with stepsis's kids completely understandable. Stepsis looking for handouts now looks gross. Yeah, deep down, Maya knows OP wasn't the real bully, that OP was parroting Maya's mother. She couldn't cut her mother or place blame there, so she pointed the continued anger at OP. Maya knows OP isn't that way now, and is jealous her children are being treated the same. And it's bringing up old hurts. Unfortunately, she still can't accept OP wasn't 100% the bad guy when they were kids, and needs to continue to be the wronged party in their story. Anywho, OP, call her bluff and say you'll allow for a more emotional connection before you take her kids anywhere, and ask when she'll host you and your husband for dinner. Be very clear that unless and until you see her doing the heavy lifting of repairing the relationship between you, you will stick with the established status quo that she's not close family. I, 28 female, met my fiance, 28 male, during college, and we have a great relationship. Last year we got engaged, and we're planning the wedding for this fall. While he has an awesome dad and lovely sisters, his mom is a sore spot for him. She's separated from his dad, from what I've heard and witnessed. The family doesn't get along much with her. If you met her, you'd understand why. She's super judgmental and rude, and barely has a nice word to say about her kids, let alone me. Unfortunately, my fiance, being her only son and the youngest child, is her blatant favorite. She wants him to be mommy's boy, but he's not that way at all, and does a great job handling her and keeping his distance, which she honestly prefers. Upon news of our engagement, she was super excited, but very uncharacteristically. We then all realized that she wanted to frame the whole day around her. Think, everyone should be praising me for birthing this boy. He couldn't even get married without me. From there, the craziness ramped up. She was coming along with him to tux fittings, trying to plan out the music, even our first dance, and getting angry at me for daring to choose a dress that she didn't like. The rest of his family and I were beginning to toy with the idea of uninviting her based on this behavior. And as wrong as it kind of innately feels, this is a pretty exceptional case. Honestly, her actions were starting to make us dread our wedding. A further incident a few days later, where she told her son she wanted to walk me down the aisle so she could have a moment with her son at the altar, made me, my future husband, and my future in-laws snap. We recently arranged for her to come over to our home, where my husband and I set her down and gently explained that we no longer wanted her to attend the wedding. She got really angry and immediately flew off the handle at me and not her son, as though I was the one who had influenced the rest of the family to uninvite her. My frustration at her boiled over, and without shouting, I stood up and told her that I wanted her to stop yelling and that she had no right to speak to me as she was. When I realized she was about to blow up again, I cut her off with, "In case you don't know, I'm the one marrying your son, not you." She didn't say anything else. She just snatched up her bag and left. She hasn't spoken to me since, but she's trying to get her son to change his mind. Believe me when I say he will not. She wants an apology from me, and while my soon-to-be husband and the rest of the family doesn't think I did anything wrong, I wonder if my comment was unnecessary and whether it would have been better to stay the calm and collected party. I was just so done with her, and I wanted to tell her exactly how I felt. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You did things exactly correctly. If you didn't put your foot down now, you would have a lifetime of drama with her. This story should have been saved as an example of how to deal with a terrible mother-in-law properly, and your fiancé deserves a high five for having your back. It wasn't until I blew up at my mother-in-law that she stopped her idiotic behavior. I should have done it 30 years earlier. OP, I wouldn't care what she thinks. It seems as if everyone agrees that she should not be at the wedding. P.S. You may want to hire security to keep her out. I would also ensure you have passwords on all your vendors and stuff, so she doesn't try to go in and change things behind your back. Even if your mother-in-law apologizes, butts out of the wedding plans, and promises to be on her best behavior, she should still not be invited. Any attempt by her to appease you and your future husband will only be a temporary manipulation tactic to get her way, although she doesn't seem to have the wherewithal, even temporarily, to act like a decent human being. She's delusional, and if given half a chance, she will find a way to do something ridiculous to upstage you at your wedding, turn up in a white dress. It's high time your entire family cut her off. My boyfriend and I are both men. My family was not happy when I came out, but they've mostly stopped voicing their opinions openly. I know they still talk about it privately, but at least they don't say anything to our faces. It took some time for them to warm up to my boyfriend, but now they actively include him in the conversation, and my 87-year-old grandma called him a very lovely young man while pinching his cheek, which is a very high form of approval from her. The one thing they still don't like us to do in front of them is when we act like a couple. They actually try to keep us separate most of the time, to not give us a chance to do something as scandalous as holding hands or kissing. We were invited to one of my cousin's birthday parties this afternoon. At some point, my boyfriend and I were alone in the kitchen, and I, thinking he looked very cute and kissable then, committed the ultimate sin. I called him something along the lines of "my pretty doll" and gave him a quick kiss. Of course, one of my cousins had to enter the kitchen at that exact moment, and because she's a 5-year-old who probably didn't know that we're a couple and has never seen us be affectionate, ran off to excitedly tell the other kids what she saw, which was met with the typical childish reactions of disgust mixed with curiosity. My favorite was actually my nephew, asking me if that means that my boyfriend is my wife now. The adults didn't find that as funny though, and I had to listen to my mother scold me for almost 30 minutes. When she finally let me go, my boyfriend asked if we could leave. I told him we'd stay for dinner and leave immediately after. Now comes the part where I might be, and probably am, the idiot. I made a point of holding my boyfriend's hand while we walked back to the table and asked one of my nieces if she'd switch seats so my boyfriend and I could sit next to each other. During dinner, I kept asking my boyfriend to hand me things on the table while addressing him by nicknames and giving him a peck on the cheek here and there. To say the mood was awkward would be an understatement. The adults mostly ignored us and glared at us every few seconds, while the younger kids kept giggling every time I called my boyfriend darling or sweetheart. My boyfriend was uncomfortable and barely looked up from his plate. We left immediately after dinner was finished. My boyfriend was very quiet on our way home, and when we got home, he broke down crying. I comforted him as best as possible, but I know it's my fault that he's also upset. Later in the evening, my mother also sent me a long message, telling me that our behavior was immature and inappropriate, and that we wouldn't be welcome at another family gathering until we stopped forcing our choices on everyone. So, am I the idiot for purposefully acting inappropriately with my boyfriend? You are the idiot, and to be honest, my reasoning for that isn't because of you rubbing your relationship in your family's face. I feel like that's petty, although maybe understandable. It's because of what you put your boyfriend through, and trying to make a point to your family, you made him so uncomfortable and upset that he was driven to tears. That is absolutely no way to treat someone you're meant to care about. You should have left before dinner, when he asked, or at least checked in with your boyfriend to see if he was comfortable with your plan, and absolutely stopped the minute you noticed his discomfort. I hope you've started apologizing profusely to him. He probably feels like crap for being used as a pawn in a game against your family. Yeah, your boyfriend is not your make my family angry prop. I hope he dumps your toxic butt. You need to lay off the hooch. It impairs your judgment. Forcing your partner to stay somewhere they were uncomfortable so that you can make a spectacle of yourself is an idiot move. All day, any day. Caring partners want to support their significant other, not to exploit them for their own amusement, at someone's birthday no less. We are a group of 5 friends going on a vacation together, embarking on a 9-hour flight. I have a back injury and have been in pain for a few days. Luckily, my airline membership grants me access to a premium economy seat, offering more comfort. 3 of us in the group share this membership perk. Now, the challenge arises as one couple in our friend circle has a different membership level, requiring them to sit separately. The boyfriend in the couple suggests a seat swapping arrangement to ensure that they can sit together on either the departure or return flights. While everyone has agreed to this plan, I question whether it's fair to me to surrender my premium seat, considering my back condition. Am I the idiot if I refuse the seat swap in this scenario? Not the idiot. Keep your premium seat. The couple that's so desperate to sit together can figure it out. If everyone else agrees to the plan, I'm not sure why you're involved. How many people need to swap seats for them to sit together? 2 other people with premium seats can swap with them, and you're not involved. However, don't be surprised when everyone who's agreed to this plan suddenly changes their mind if their premium seat is at risk. Don't let them bully you. I'm sorry, but just because you want to sit with your spouse does not mean you have to. But if you're so codependent that you cannot live without sitting next to each other, then by all means, call the airline and pay to upgrade your ticket. LOL, right? Before the flight, we have to sit together. After takeoff, husband falls asleep and the wife watches Netflix. Okay, yeah, sure, you have to sit together. Seriously, the back pain is irrelevant. Expecting others to give up better accommodations because they want to be cheap is an idiot move. regardless of any other detail in the story. How convenient it is for them to demand accommodations that benefit their comfort at the expense of others.